Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. In fact, it's probably been about like 3 or 4 months since I have uploaded a video, since I've made a video even. And in a video I made literally just before I made this one, it was a haul video, I started to go into where I've been, like why I haven't posted anything, but then I just thought I might as well just make an update video for you so you can kind of just like get around it and I didn't have to explain the whole thing, which I do. I go on 100 tangents when I make haul videos. They don't ever actually end up being haul videos. They just end up being me telling 100 tales. Yeah, I just thought maybe it would just be best if I kind of just explained it in its own video as to like where I've been, what I've been doing, kind of deal. So I guess where I'll start with it is kind of like around, I suppose, just like TikTok being like the main player in this game now, and TikTok affecting a lot of smaller channels because it's basically like you either have to like jump on the TikTok train and grow with it. There's like some saying about like joining them or failing or what, I don't fucking know. Don't really want to join them. Love TikTok, don't get me wrong. Love anyone who has made that their platform and is thriving on there. So happy for anyone doing that. Like I commend you. It's just not really something that I see myself like getting super involved in posting myself. Just because I guess even on YouTube, I've always been quite private. Like I don't really give out a lot of information about my life. And I mean, like, not that you have to do that on TikTok, but it is a lot more personal. People like share a lot more about their life, about what they're doing. Like it feels more intimate to me, and my YouTube platform never really has been like super intimate. I guess I've shared like a few stories here and there. I'm just like a very private person in general. Even people who know me probably don't know that much about me. Like I keep things very close. So yeah, TikTok has just like never really felt like the right platform. I know like not everyone does that style, but like you do see that a lot of the people who gain a lot of following and are like successful on there do share a lot and let people in because it like makes people feel a connection to the person. Like I get why, I just like, that's just not me. I mean, like for a little while during like lockdown, like maybe like 2 years ago, I was making like a lot of the kind of like sound videos that were like trending. I was having fun doing that, but I was also in lockdown. So like I was either making YouTube videos or like making TikTok videos. Like couldn't leave the house. Like there wasn't a whole lot else to do. So I had the time to do that. Whereas like when life is open and like can experience things again, I just don't have the time for that. Like not necessarily super interested in making those kind of videos anymore either. So it's kind of like I wouldn't even know where to go with videos. And like I have definitely dropped off in general, really wanting like a whole lot to do with social media. Anyone who knows me well knows that I'm terrible at responding to people, replying replying to my closest friends, my family, like so bad at that. So me attempting to have a social media presence is just not like, it doesn't align with who I am whatsoever, because I don't even reply to the people I know. So like replying to people who watch me or follow me, like I am hopeless. And I apologize if I have ever offended you or hurt you by not replying. Just know that my mother is weeping along with you because I'm not replying to her either. I'm not replying to any of my closest friends. People get angry at me all the time for it. They'll be like, oh, I messaged you about this and I just never replied. If you're a reply guy, then like I genuinely envy you because that can never be me. I'm just more of a like in-person, I value in-person interaction so much more than I do anything online. That's just how I am, which again, doesn't really align with like being a social media presence. And I get that you need to be engaging with your audience and like responding to them. I'm just so damn bad at it. And to be honest, I just find social media quite draining. So like that's been a thought in my mind for a long time now. Then obviously TikTok really just being the where you need to be if you want to be doing social media. And I just don't have that drive or that passion to do that. So I've kind of found that like in not having that drive or motivation or like want to do that, obviously that affects like YouTube. And because YouTube has been my job, it has been my main source of income for quite a few years now, that gets very hard when like, especially with the cost of living going up, like it's just kind of like not really feasible. At least I don't think for my size channel, at least I don't think for the input that I wish to put into it. Not to mention I haven't been piercing for quite a while, so I feel like, it's not like I feel like I'm lying to you, because like you don't just forget the knowledge that you have gained from a job you were doing for a long time, but it's like I'm not currently in the industry, so it's like not like super relevant. And I mean, I was working in tattoo studios there as well. Piercing, tattoos, like there is overlap there, and I felt like my audience definitely had interest in tattoos as well. So like I definitely saw that as something that I thought you guys would be interested in me talking about too, but I'm also no longer working in that either, and that like is a whole other story. There's so many parts of that that I would love to share, and honestly I'm happy to share. For a while there I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, but then like now that I know, absolutely I want nothing to do with working in that industry ever. Like I just do not care. So happy to share. If you would like me to do a tell-all of like all the things that I experienced and just like how it is straight up, I would do that. People like have this perception of the tattoo industry. People like look up to artists, and it's kind of like, oh man, just the things I've learned and seen, I'm kind of like, hell no, I want nothing to do with that. Going on a tangent here, but I'm kind of trying to say that like going from piercing industry to tattoo industry, thought it was quite a similar audience. So I was continuing making videos. I felt that I still had like relevant current experiences in the industry, and I was like, well, this works well. For ages there, I didn't really think too much about it. Basically now I'm just like, I've been out of it for a while, so it's kind of like, I just don't feel the relevance of constantly making videos about piercing when I'm not currently in it, kind of thing. When people start making content, often people are making content about their job, about their role, whatever it is, about their expertise. Those people don't then continue to work in that forever. Like a lot of the time people will start making their videos then as that like becomes their main source of income, and their main like priority for their time needs to be spent making these videos instead, because they now have an audience who is relying on them to give them that content. The job does fall away. The job either becomes secondary, or like the job is gone and the content becomes the job. That's a very, very common thing. So it's not like I couldn't continue making videos about piercings, which I still will make videos about piercings. It's just not going to be like the constant weekly video. I know people can leave their job in an industry and continue making videos about the subject, about the industry, whatever it is. People continue making those videos for years, forever. It's more just that like I feel like I've been quite burnt out with making just piercing videos, because I know that's what you want and that's fine. Like I know you're here for that, but with the burnout comes like I need a bit of a break from making them. Hence, that is what is happening. But potentially with that break will come like a refreshed motivation, which I definitely am already feeling. So like videos could be coming back up soon enough. I'm not saying like I want nothing to do with like ever discussing piercings or tattoos ever again. It's just that like I'm burnt out from it. And I'm burnt out from working in and around the industries and the people in the industries, and I kind of just need like a breather, because like it's like I've worked in it and then like I haven't stopped talking about it, I feel like, because I've been making content about it. And I'm kind of just like, damn, I just need to stop speaking about this for a minute, or I'm gonna my mind is going to blow to a bazillion pieces. To put it in perspective, just put yourself in my shoes. Like say you work as whatever it is you work as. You work as a nurse, and then after work you create content about nursing, and then after the content is created you then edit content about nursing. So it's just like your whole world is that subject matter, and that is all. Like it's quite overwhelming, and I think I've felt very overwhelmed by like having like piercing and tattoos consume my every moment of my life, and it's just like a bit much. More so piercing though, obviously, because I feel like I've been talking about it for years, and then obviously working in it for years as well. Your average everyday person doesn't have to go from their job to then continue talking about that thing and then edit that thing and like watch themselves constantly talking about it and then go back and look at, like, it's just like, ugh. And obviously I put myself in this position. I know that I am the one who started making the content about my job, so I can't be like, woe is me for doing this. But all I'm saying is now, after making the content for this many years, it's kind of like, damn, like I can't talk about this anymore. That's all I'm feeling. For sure burnout. But with that now, definitely, I think more recently has come like a newfound sort of like energy around different areas that I want to talk about. I've like been thinking about it more recently. I guess that's what's driven me to want to make videos again, is that like I've thought about things that I haven't really discussed on here, whether it was because like I didn't really want to taint the industries in any way. I didn't want to, like, I mean, like I can't talk. I've obviously talked shit, but like I really didn't want to discourage people from loving what they love about piercing or about tattooing. Like I didn't want to take that, like that love from people who don't know the insides, because you know what, sometimes it's better to not know behind the scenes. And I think I hope I've given you like a background view that hasn't been too tainty, concealing some of the things that I do think are shitty about these industries. I am like, it appears to be like something on the outside, but it's not always that. With that, like I've been thinking a lot about things that like I do want to talk about. And I think it would be valuable for people to know. Not trying to ruin tattoos or piercings for you, but there's just some things that like I think need to be discussed. I think no one talks about certain things because either people are still working in the industry and they don't want to get like blacklisted or shunned, or like they don't want people who work with them to not respect them or not like that they've told certain things that are almost like you just don't talk about those things. There is a lot of that, and I would honestly love to talk about them because I've had some very shitty experiences as a client and also working in these industries. I've definitely blacked some of them out because I'm just like, I think being able to open up about my back tattoo, there was a lot of positive feedback around that, and there was a lot of people who reached out to me in a positive way or in a helpful way, and I really appreciate that. And I think discussing some other things that have happened or I've seen or I've like been around may also like open your eyes to certain things that I think might be helpful. I mean, like there's definitely people who responded to me after my tattoo and were like, I'm definitely going to rethink my future tattoos because I also have an autoimmune condition or like whatever it is, which is a good thing because I think we're sold tattoos like they're just like any average day product, which it is not that. Like it's a permanent body modification that really needs to be thought about outside of it just being permanent. Like, oh, it's going to be there forever. You really need to think about it. No, there's like other risks involved as well that we just don't really focus on. That's not even the parts of the industry that I'm really like wanting to talk about. There's a lot aside from it being like an all-consuming part of my life, having to speak about. Again, I put myself in this position. I don't have to speak about it. I could have moved away from piercing, tattooing, and social media a long time ago, but I chose not to, so that's on me. As I am getting older, I'm realizing that like being consumed by social media isn't like what I want for my life. My brain, like motivation and emotional state don't work well with social media. I also have a new job as well, which has nothing to do with any of this. It's been refreshing, it's been nice, and I've been enjoying it. And it's something that I went to university for, so it like feels good to be working in the industry that I went to university for. So that's like another huge focus for me and my time now is pursuing that and that career. Like just surviving right now is so difficult for everyone, and I guess like that also played a part, but also it was in pursuit of what I was studying at uni. So like it did fit into what I was always aiming to do anyway. Had I continued making like a good amount of income on YouTube, I may not have like almost had that push. It was a good thing. I probably would have stayed stagnant in the sense that I could have just been like, you know, this is easy. I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't have to like go out and seek other work and like go through the whole process of finding a new role. I think there's a lot of people who are doing YouTube who are feeling that exact same pressure. There's a lot of pressure now because it's like a lot of people, if not everyone, isn't making as much off YouTube. So it is becoming harder and harder to survive off it. The views on so many people I watch, as well as my own, are so impacted by TikTok because people are much rather like sitting on TikTok scrolling than coming to a longer form platform like YouTube, which is understandable. I get it. It's just like making it a lot harder for YouTube creators to continue making videos, especially when it is your job, because you're relying on putting the input in, putting the time in to have an end outcome of it being your income. And then when the income isn't what you expect or what you require, it makes it very hard to rely on YouTube as your job. It's really tough. I don't think everyone realizes how much TikTok has affected YouTube creators, because anyone who is reliant on the income of YouTube has been hit so hard by TikTok. It makes it so that like YouTubers can't make videos because they can't spend the time that they would making the video, because they were being, it sounds bad, they were being compensated for their time. Just as you are a job, like you go into a job, you spend the hours doing the work and you're paid hourly. You're not paid hourly on YouTube. So when people are putting in all the time and effort to make and edit the videos, and then what they receive back isn't worth the time, it makes it really hard to continue making the videos unless you're doing it for the love of it, which again, if you're spending all your time doing that, you still need to survive and you need income. So the time that you would spend making videos has to go to a job that's going to pay you for your time. And in Australia with TikTok as well, we don't have the creator fund. So the way people from TikTok in Australia make money is from like sponsorships, partnerships, endorsements. I kind of got to that point where I was like it's fine, but it's not ideal. I would much rather seek out a permanent and reliable, stable income. And it also sort of takes that stress away of like the fact that YouTube, like month to month, you don't know what you're going to make. You could have a great month, you could have a terrible month. It's like fluctuates all the time because it's so reliant on your views and how well your videos do. It can be very stressful, and that works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. Especially doesn't work for everyone in this current economy. I think it makes it so much harder in like how expensive everything is now, and inflation. It's just like kind of fucked with everything. So like that is also why I'm very happy to have a stable and secure income now, rather than relying on YouTube. My free time as well has been also consumed by a new hobby that I have taken up, because I guess when I started YouTube, making videos was a hobby to begin with. But now I have been getting into photography, and it's been something that I finally, for the first time in a long time, have really felt like excited and like passionate about. I probably started to really get into it early-ish last year. I made an Instagram for just my photography. So if you want to follow that, it is Hazy Dreams Media. I have been finding it very like therapeutic as a great creative outlet. I reckon probably over the past like 2 to 3 years, I would say I've lost like a lot of my interest in just a lot of things. And like I used to have so many hobbies, like hobby graveyard lady, absolutely, but like I also definitely had many ongoing, very numb for a while there, which like also I think has coincided with everything that happened with my back tattoo, with chronic pain, with depression. That's all like played a part in it. I guess a huge part of that though as well was the fact that like one of my like huge passions was travel. Like I feel like I have dedicated so much of my time, my savings to traveling over many, many years. And I traveled to many, many places. And that was like everything to me. That's like literally all that mattered to me, was like, where am I going next? Always having like another trip booked, and like just exploring and seeing the world, seeing different cultures, meeting people from around the world. Like that biggest passion for so long. I would say for the last 10 years. And then like more so recently, I did like quite a lot of trips in the last year, and a big one to sort of like round things up towards the end of last year. Like I did a 2-month trip, USA, Mexico, and Canada. After that, I felt very burnt out and very much like, I don't know if I can keep doing this anymore, which was a huge turning point and very sad moment for me, because it's like, it's something that I just felt like it was a huge part of my identity, was traveling. It was just like, I was never home. I was always off somewhere. I was like, all right, I think I'm done now. Felt very strange, and it felt like I was completely lost. So that is kind of where I was at the end of last year. I was like, what do I do now? Like, all I've done is dedicate all my time to traveling, especially when like YouTube was such a huge like passion for me. And that kind of, as I said, like I got pretty burnt out from that. So that kind of like fell away. And then like travel, although it was always a part of my identity, I felt it like definitely took the reins completely, like of all my interests. It was just travel. To have that completely go, which is my choice, feels weird, feels very strange. For the last few months of last year, I was like completely lost, like don't know what I like anymore. I don't want to do travel anymore. For months, I was very much like, I didn't like anything. There is nothing I like. I feel very flat, very, very numb. What is going on? And even though at that time I was into photography and I was like getting excited about it, I don't know if it hit the same that I've hit with it now, where I'm like, I actually really love this. I feel a lot of creative satisfaction in doing it. Something's just taken a turn. So it's like really nice to finally have something that I'm like, this feels really good, and like I'm really excited about doing this and like learning more, and like yeah, I'm really like experimenting and playing around with it, but I've been super excited about it. So that has felt so good, and that has been something that has been taking up basically all my free time when I'm not working. Over the last few months, YouTube has like fallen away. But like there's also something that I love so much about making videos, and I don't want this to disappear. I want to continue making them for you because I also love my audience. I love you all so much. I don't know where my life would be without you, and I'm so happy that we have gone on this journey together, and we're going to continue going on it. It just might be not as frequent. I will try. I'm going to try my best. I just want to be a bit more like transparent with you to say that like it might not be a every week thing, but who knows? If I get a spurt of energy and I just feel like making a bunch of videos, like today I'm making a few, and then you might get a few all at once, and then it might be like a few more weeks till the next one, but they're going to keep coming. Don't think that I'm like, no, never again will I ever make a piercing or tattoo video. I have ideas for content and I want to keep talking about it. I'm just saying that like my burnout was created from talking about the same thing over and 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 over again, as I'm sure anyone's burnout would be. It's very hard to speak about the same thing for that long. Like the amount of people who said to me, they're like, how do you even have videos to keep like creating about piercings? Like how can you keep talking about them for this long? I'm like, honestly, I'm surprised I've been able to do it. Like very surprised I've been able to do it. I'm so happy that you guys have stuck around and still remained interested, because like there were a lot of times where I was like, I have to make this video because it's my income. I've got to make it, but I don't feel the drive to make it, and I don't want to put out videos that it's just like me feeling forced to do it, because you'll be able to see that, and I won't be as like silly as I would be if I was like, hell yeah, I'm so keen to make this. This is going to be a great video, and like I feel the energy myself. That's the kind of videos I want to put out for you now, where it's like it's going to be fun and like worth your while to watch it. Definitely still piercing, tattoo, alternative content. That's always going to be a part of this, but there might just be a few other things like thrown into the mix as well, so that we can keep things fun and fresh, and so that I don't burn out and I don't just stop making videos for months on end because I'm like, I can't speak about another piercing. Maybe I'll go, hey guys, can't speak about another piercing for like a few weeks, so like let's revisit this in a month's time, rather than every single week me being like, okay, what is our video concept? What am I going to talk about based around piercing this week? Then I go and film the video, I talk about the piercing, and then I go and I edit the video talking about piercing, and then I rewatch the video talking about piercing, and I can't hear another damn thing about another piercing ever again in my life, because that is how I've been feeling. So please understand me. I'm sure you will. So it will exist on here, just like we're not only going to react and speak about piercings, because my mind will explode if I do that for any longer. I hope this video gave you a little bit of insight into how my brain functions and where I'm at the moment, and just hope you can understand that we're still going to be here, we're still going to be doing the same style content, it's still going to be focused around the same topics, but there's also just going to be sprinklings so that we can keep things exciting and fresh. Love you all. Thank you so much for sticking around through all of this. And also, if you would like to pop anything you would like to hear about, any particular subjects you really want me to talk about, anything that comes to mind, honestly, I'm open. If there is something completely absurd you want me to discuss, I'm down. Like, Write in the comments what type of videos you would like to see, what type of things you want me to talk about. Do not feel like I'm going to shut it down. Just know, might not reply / might not reply for a long time, but also I might make the video. So you might not get a response, but you'll get a full video as a response. Anything you want to see, I'm down. Let's do some fun things. Let's create some things that you want to see that keeps things exciting for you. Let's do a Q&A. Write some questions down below. Let's open up the floor and see what kind of videos we can pump out from this discussion down below. Love you all so much, and I'm excited for what is to come.